Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Below the Line, the show that defies gravity. My name is Andres Ramirez, and I'm here with my good and friend co-host, Mr. Zach Houston Scott. Are you defying gravity too this weekend, Mr. Zach?
With unlimited potential, yes.
Are you making good deeds or bad deeds?
Right now, I am doing no good deeds when I'm
No
making these
good
terrible
deeds.
puns.
But you at least have a heart, don't you?
Yeah, and the
Okay.
nerve.
Okay, that's good. But I mean, so you're more like a scarecrow, maybe type of character.
Well, I've got a brain. I just don't have the heart in it anymore to really make these puns anymore.
Okay,
I need to
yeah, I
change for
pushed
good.
it too much. I pushed it too much. Uh,
Coward.
well, I was gonna say coward, but that sounds very mean. Yeah, yeah. In case you guys didn't notice, we probably are going to talk about. Is it a popular franchise or is it a franchise that just exists? The Wizard of World Oz franchise or the Oz cinematic universe? Like, what is this franchise? This IP?
This is a very popular IP and it's a very popular franchise. I mean, that even predates the films. Like in the
Yeah, because it was a
early
book.
1900s, yeah, it was probably the earliest book series that was like, think what the Goosebumps books were in that period. They just kept making them constantly. And really, that first movie, it was adapted so many times that after the 39 film, nobody else could do it anymore. That was just it.
Until fan fiction came along,
Yes. Well, we don't want to get
which
into
is
fan
Wicked, right?
fiction.
Because Wicked is considered, is it the most successful fan fiction of all time?
I wouldn't go that far. We have also 50 Shades of Grey to
Yeah.
kind of consider. That was Twilight fan fiction originally.
There's also another one, right?
Aragon.
After
Aragon.
the after series with young Voldemort. I think that's a fan fiction of One Direction or something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that franchise after. They made a lot of them and they're still
They
going
made
out with
like
them.
20.
Jeez. There's like a before, there's after everything, but we need to stay on track. Let's talk
Yes.
The Wizard of Oz before we go into the two Wicked movies and I don't know, just discuss the new one and what we thought of the first part. And yeah, so what do you think of the original 1939 film in general?
I mean, if I have to be honest, I have not watched that film in probably 20 plus years. But in the defense of the film, I think it's an iconic film because of the technical aspects of the film. I mean, it was the first film shot in Technicolor, which gave us that look, that distinct look of Technicolor. I mean, the iconic red shoes are part of film history forever. The yellow brick road, it's iconic. It was creative, it was imaginative. Who knows who actually directed it, but I think as an accomplishment of filmmaking, sets, cinematography, it's one of the most important films in the history of the craft of filmmaking. Maybe we don't have color as sharp as it is without that movie. And I think it's crazy to think it happened with a genre film of all type of films. But I also think genre films push the industry forward in many ways, just like
Yeah.
Tron did many years later, just like Star Wars, 2001 Space Odyssey, Avatar now, Matrix. I think these genre films really push the film industry forward. And as I said, I have not seen it in a very long time. Maybe it's outdated, maybe it's not. It starts with Somewhere Over the Rainbow. It's like a very iconic piece of film history. I mean, I think if I watched it, I would definitely have it watch it with a smile on my face. I don't know if those were the answers you were looking for, Zach.
No, it was. I will say this that this, along with Snow White, I consider two movies, regardless of how old they are and in retrospective dated, you do need to see in order to capture like just a general imagination and feeling to how this color, this like imagination is expressed regardless of like the time period or just what it was set out to do, because you're not going to find
Absolutely.
anything more iconic than those ruby slippers. You're not going to find anything more iconic than Somewhere Over the Rainbow. The
Yep.
performances just fantastic across the board. The makeup, the set work, everything about it. Like, considering this was MGM just wanting to make this film out of spite to say we want a Snow White that'll do us numbers is really an accomplishment. And yeah, it didn't do well initially, but over time it grew that following. And I mean, its legacy is just, what more could be said about it? Like, it's one of those kids movies that transcends more so than anything. Like, it's entertainment for all and just captures like that beautiful like time period, that beautiful just like what cinema could have accomplished for back then and still continues to today. And it
Yeah.
just, to me, I always think like that's a high standard, that whenever a new version comes around or if they try another adaptation of Wizard of Oz, I'm always curious to see if they could top it, because most of the time they can't, but there have been some close, exceptions, or, less than cheap cash ins, I should say. But yeah, that's my thought on it. Because, I mean, there were other films from the Oz franchise. There was Return to Oz in the 1980s that scarred kids. I don't know if you've ever seen that one.
No, I know there's like a bunch of sequels, but I'm very aware that the traditional one is The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Um, Another addition, I think at its time, perhaps due to the craftsmanship, it was a film ahead of its time. I mean, that transition where it goes from black and white to Technicolor, it's such a practical transition because that
Oh,
was
the
done in
sepia? Yes.
camera. That was not CGI. And I just wonder what it would have felt to see that for the first time, because for many viewers around that time, it was the first time they were seeing color on the big screen. And that
Yeah.
was such an iconic, it is perhaps the most iconic shot of the whole movie. Just going from color from black and white to color, and how well it's made in the subtext, because Dorothy's life in is it Kansas? Yeah, it's Kansas.
Yep, Kansas.
Has no color. She is bored. I mean, that's the whole point of why they kept Somewhere Over the Rainbow, because Oz is somewhere over the rainbow, and suddenly her life has color, and there's a purpose. So I think thematically, maybe the film was also very complex for the audiences at the time. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I agree with that wholeheartedly. To me, the most iconic moment of the film is when they say we're off to seeing the wizard with all
That's
of them
also
in tow,
iconic.
and just so many quotable lines. But enough about that movie. Like I mentioned, there have been sequels, there have been other adaptations, and even a prequel that Sam Raimi did in the early 2010s that is really
Really?
bad. You didn't know
He
that?
worked in the Oz universe?
Yeah, Oz the Great and Powerful with James Franco and Mila Kunis.
Is that considered canon to The Wizard of Oz?
Yes, it is. That's one origin story. You can take The Wizard of Oz. I think that is technically a prequel to the 1939 film, but
Oh
now that
boy.
Wicked exists, I don't know if it's not canon anymore. But hey, I mean, what
Well,
is canon
technically,
in this universe?
Wicked is not canon because it's fan fiction.
You call it
And,
fan fiction.
well, because technically it's a book that got adapted into the play, and the play and the book are nothing alike. Like, the book apparently is much more darker and much more sexual, I believe, than the actual play.
Yeah, I heard that too. I mean, it definitely captured more what the original Oz books were meant to be. I think every adaptation since, except the '80s Return to Oz, just kind of doubled down on the darkness, or lightened everything up a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But even still, like, when we do talk about the second act of Wicked for Good, it does go into dark places. But yeah, I guess
Yes.
going into Wicked itself, I never watched or read the Broadway play. I never read the original book. I never once experienced. I
Wicked.
heard the songs. I knew what they were about, but I never got the premise of it. I just kind of like, typical theater stuff and ignored it. And then this movie was highly anticipated for years. Like people were hoping it
Like
would come out a
15
lot
years.
sooner. Yes. Like it had a release date initially of I think 2015, and then they had to wait another decade for it to come out, and it got split in half to tell the full story. So yeah, expectations were pretty high for it. And even from the casting, they wanted to make sure who was playing these characters were nailing it. So going in completely blind to that first part, I was really into it. I liked the story. I kind of liked how they had all these origins for some of these characters. Even from that first part, I didn't realize who some of those characters were. That's how little I understood of the play and the book. So, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I just thought it was really cool to witness that and see where they came from essentially. And, just anticipating the second part that would conclude the story and connect itself more to Wizard of Oz.
In
So,
theory, because there's
in
also
theory,
a sequel to this version of the story.
uh, let's not get
But
ahead of ourselves with those. I don't think
no,
they'll
but
be as received.
I don't think that could ever be adapted because that's not the musical. Like that's not the book itself, if you know what I mean. Like the book series has a sequel, but the musical is a musical. So I don't know if they could adapt it because that's a musical. It could be possible that they do a remake of The Wizard of Oz with the cast of Wicked, but that's a different version they could go with.
That's kind of what I thought. Really, if they were talking about what a third Wizard of Oz would be like, or Wicked would be like, why couldn't they have just adapted or remade the Wizard of Oz? Give
I
a
don't
bigger.
know because that's a different studio. This is Universal. MGM has the rights of The Wizard of Oz, I believe.
Well, I mean, they could have worked out a deal with them. Didn't have to tell the Wizard of Oz that version. You could have done a different take of it.
I also don't think John M. Chu dared to touch that beloved film. Like he was pretty scared of showing Dorothy to the point where I don't
Clearly,
even in the second part. Like
yeah.
Dorothy is not seen in the film. Like she's like a silhouette. So I'm not even sure if that was a real actress playing Dorothy or it was a computer generated. I'm not saying AI, but like a computer generated person. Not AI, but like an animated person. It just didn't look like a real person, and they were clearly trying to mimic like the original Dorothy, but I don't know if he didn't want to include it, and that was a choice that the film made,
And
and that's how it's in the play. But again, film and play are different formats.
yeah, and just to not jump ahead a little bit, I do think that was a mistake in the film to not really show her face, apart from one moment in when she's imprisoned. But I mean, that's just me. I get why the intent was done for that, but really, you could have connected this far more to the Wizard of Oz. I think the movie just
Yeah,
needed to have that
yeah.
courage, ironically, in order to do that, because you're already committed to so much more. And someone who didn't know the play, I know they added stuff more into
They added
Act
two
Two.
songs that were
Okay,
kind of forgettable.
trying to get some Oscar nominated buzz, I guess.
Well, so let's jump back to first part. I agree with you in that sense. Personally, I had seen the play a long time ago, and I know the play got hyped because one of the voices for Frozen was, I don't remember which of the witches, but she was in the cast of the original Wicked recording for Broadway. So that was what made it the hype. And then when they did Frozen, that also got the hype. But I do believe the first part of the film and both play is the strongest. That's where they have the biggest songs, the most
Showstopper.
known songs of the play. And in the second act, if you listen to the score of the play, it's a lot of reuse the same tracks. And I think that works in play, but in film, it's a different story. And I also think the first part, it's the cinematography of that one is not good. I
In the
know, but
second one?
from the first part, they have like a yellow filter where everything looks like it's shot on a green screen. Like, I just thought that for a film that is referencing the film that pretty much gave the industry the color of, these flashy colors, the first film looked very washed. And I think a lot of the performances were on the material, not so much on the staging. What I mean by that is, I think Yeon M. Shu is a good director, but he's not a musical director. If you watch his work in The Heights, I think the way the film is shot and the musical numbers are staged are pretty forgettable. I think the most interesting sequences where they have that breakdance or that walking in the skyscrapers in New York. And I also think that looked very CGI heavy. It didn't look practical, even though apparently they shot it practical. And I think the second one has more color, but maybe it's too late, if you know what I mean.
No, for sure, for sure. Yeah, this is definitely a darker movie in general. Like, I get it though. The vibe is different from the first movie. Like, the characters are in a darker headspace. Oz is in probably a worse off position than it was. And I mean, especially in that first half too, when they're capturing the animals and ruling over and making those statements, I definitely saw a lot of. Ironically, when Dorothy starts to come, does it get a little lighter with? I mean, spoilers. One of the characters' deaths. So
To a certain point, I also thought that was pretty. The way it was written, it was pretty. I don't know, very laughable.
you thought it was
Like,
laughable the way it was done.
well, the thing is, she was worse than Alphaba, this the character that dies, and there's a storm in the middle of the night, and she's just casually running around, and they established something before that those shoes made her fly or walk. Like, why was she in the wheelchair?
True.
That those two things didn't add up. So to me, I was like, wait, why is she in the wheelchair if she has those shoes that have superpowers? So I sort of felt like, okay, they need her to die so the plot can happen.
Well, and
And then,
also to connect it to the original Wizard of Oz for all intents purposes.
yeah, but I felt the connections were pretty forced in terms of how they connected. Because if
Okay.
I recall correctly, the scarecrow, it's there. It's the first one that she meets Dorothy, right?
Yeah.
And in this one, they don't even meet. So I think the connections to the Wizard of Oz are also pretty weak. In the film, the Tin Man is all rusty and forgotten, almost like he had been the Tin Man for like a very long time. And in this film, it sort of felt like he had been the Tin Man for like half an hour. So, like, I think while they try to connect it to Dorothy, because it's such a different story, that didn't happen. Like,
Hmm.
if you wanted to attract people that were fans of the film, as we've said, it would have been very interesting to tell the story of Dorothy. Because I do think one of the core themes of the film is feminism, a little bit. And I think the idea that Dorothy is being forced to kill the witch, it's kind of crazy that we never get to see her perspective.
No,
And I get
definitely.
and I get that the film is about the witch, but we also don't see her perspective as she dies. It sort of felt that we're trying to homage the original film, but it sort of felt like, okay, how can we do it without redoing it?
Yeah, no, and I
and
get
they
that.
just showed shadows, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. No, there were a lot of missed opportunities. I think you and I both feel mostly with
But
just
you
its
liked it
connection
more,
to Wizard of Oz,
right?
and I did because I was really into it, and I guess I basically never saw the original play, and I thought, oh, this is really cool. Like when we do see the Tin Man for the first time, that's a really cool effect, and I like
Oh,
the way
it looked
he looked.
great.
Yeah, the lion, even though he's CGI, I thought looked pretty cool and realistic, and he has a pretty cool voice as well too.
Domingo.
Yeah, Coleman Domingo doing it, and he was Norman Osborn in that new Spider-Man show. So
Well, he
I
was in
hope
the
he
Running
gets,
Man.
and the Running Man too. Yes, he
Yeah, he
was.
was
No,
last
just
week. Yeah.
fantastic actor. I'm glad he's in a movie that's succeeding.
Well, do you think this will hit $1 billion?
It
Because
might.
I think awards chances, like the chances for an award contending film, are not there. I don't think this is going to get Jung Chu nominated. If he
No,
had
God
been
no.
nominated, it would have been the past film, because I think the past film has more
Iconic moments.
voter. Well, I think the voters could be more sweet to it. Like I think, for example, you like Good Deed as a film, as a song. I
Mm-hmm.
thought that song was very poorly staged. Like the
Really?
sets look so CGI'd. Uh, but like you liked it, so but like I'm saying, I think it needed like a defying gravity moment to seal
Yeah,
this film, and it doesn't have it. Like I couldn't tell you which were the new songs if you asked me. But again, I'm not a huge fan of the play. That said, I think it's gonna be very front loaded, but I don't know if it'll hit $1 billion because not even the first part hit $1 billion.
no, no, that one didn't. I think it can. I mean, it has the benefit of like people knowing that first movie, and it did so well on like Amazon here and Peacock in the States and everything.
Yeah.
No, it's going to do well, and I think it may not be the ending people expected, or I mean, maybe it's, I don't know. I really got into it. I was really digging the songs. I liked the story. I dug the final shot. I think was where it really all clicked together. Just that last frame of the whole film. I'm like, you know what? That's really kind of what it's all about.
What's about them? It's about their friendship.
Exactly. And it's a nice little reference to something. And honestly, it just kind of wraps everything up. Not in a
Which
very nice way.
which I guess to their core audience, like girls, it was a very girl like friendship relationship. If you know what scene I'm talking about, where they kind of fight a guy, but in this very hilarious way of fighting that
Yeah,
felt very girl like, if you know what I mean. Like, I think at its core, it serves its audience. If I have to be honest, I think the audience that is trying to captivate will be very happy with this conclusion.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly.
That being said, I think if the film wanted to say something more about fascism, I don't know if this film is the type of film to do it. And the scenes where they try to evoke like World War II scenarios, like when the Teen Man is trying to escape but they don't let him, it sort of felt very light, like very on the nose and very light on its commentary.
Hmm.
Like I get it, the propaganda machine tells the lies and the lies become the truth. That's an interesting idea, but I also think the Oz character was pretty dumb.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that he keeps his prisoners like right next to his show stage is like, come on. Like, what happens if your assistant walks in the wrong door? I mean, I guess they get trapped too.
They're
Um,
not the smartest. Well, I mean, yeah, they're not the smartest bunch of people in this merry land. But
no, they're not.
I'd say
So
definitely watch it. I enjoyed it quite a bit, and the kids are gonna really like it, even if it is a little intense sometimes for them.
talking about kids. So what's your rating before I ask you the next question?
This is a solid 4 for me out of
Four
5.
out
I
of
was very
five.
happy.
Okay.
Yeah,
So for me, the first one was a 7 out of 10. For me, this is a 6.5 out of 10. So
So
not
you're
not
in like the
terrible.
3 range, 3.5.
I think some critics hated it more than I did. I just thought it was like meh. Like I expected more, uh, but I also think that's a fault of what they're adapting. Like the second act of the play is also very weak, and this is the second act of the play.
Yeah.
Because next week is Utopia. Who do you think will be the king of Thanksgiving in the U.S.?
Ooh.
Wicked Two or Zootopia?
I
Because
think
and technically it's also Stranger Things week, first 4 episodes. So do you think Wicked will have the legs to compete with the competition ahead next week?
I think it will. Zootopia has the benefit of being releasing on Thanksgiving weekend, like the Wednesday. So I
Oof.
think it'll be like Jurassic Park and have legs throughout the month of December, just because we don't have a whole lot of movies left
I
for
mean,
the
Avatar.
rest of the year. Yeah, Avatar and SpongeBob aside. And Stranger Things is more for the adult audiences who have been
I
around
mean,
since the beginning for almost 10 years now. I'm
10 years.
honest. Yeah, 10 years. No, do the math. It's there. Started in 2016. It's going to end on New Year's before 2026. So, yeah, it's time to end this thing.
For now, because they just announced an animated thing.
Yeah, I don't care. That show should have ended a long time ago. Even the cast, I'm seeing their press tour, are just not happy with how they're being treated. But
Well, I think the most honest was maybe Bobby Brown. She was like, "Yeah, I like the paycheck. Now I have to work."
yeah, I will sign us off since go see Wicked, go support movies, whereas we're approaching the end of the year. And next
Wait,
week, you'll hear our thoughts on Zootopia.
what else have you been watching? Let's recommend something we've been watching.
I recommend watching Boogie Nights. I've been in a Paul Thomas
Ooh,
S. Anderson, or no,
PTA.
yeah, PTA mood. So definitely check out that movie. It is fantastic and a lot of fun.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I'm still in my Stranger Things rewatch, but I'll recommend something that it's not film or TV. Play Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Really good game. If you have like 100 hours to spare, I've been playing this game since February, and I think I'm almost about to beat it. But it's such a good game, and
Kingdom
it's
Come
nominated
Deliverance 2.
for the Game Awards.
If I recommend a game, I recommend Dispatch. I would like to dedicate an episode for that, honestly.
Oh, how is that game? That's a
So
game
good.
that it's made by ex Telltale developers, right? And it's
Ex-
like The Boys meets Invincible, right?
Pretty much. And it is just as good as people say it is. I honestly am really not obsessed, but rewatching a lot of clips and gameplay of it, it's just so good. Like a fantastic game.
That's like a TV show almost, right? Because it's like a movie game where you make some choices, but you really watch most of the gameplay, right?
Yep,
It's on my wait list, on my wish list on Steam,
it's
actually.
worth it. So,
Okay, maybe I'll check it out. Have you heard of Arc Raiders?
yes, I have heard of Arc Raiders. It's doing numbers.
Are you playing it? No,
No, but I've heard of it. So it's probably going to be a killer app for the end of the year.
maybe. Well, I mean, seems like gaming is going in a different sphere. Like the Steam machine that just got announced. The Switch is kind of like a very weird console at the moment, but
Yeah.
Xbox, the prices just keep going up, and then PlayStation is PlayStation in the sense that they're okay, but they don't really release anything to justify being PlayStation.
Hmm.
But I guess we have Wolverine next year
We do. And Grand Theft Auto 6 when that comes out.
if it comes out.
Yeah, but
But
I will
yeah,
sign us on.
I guess the movie I would recommend, uh, Noble Bogue, the new French Wave on Netflix, directed by Richard Linklater. It's already out. It's really good. It's about how Jean-Luc Godard shot Breathless.
That's cool. No, that's
If
awesome. I'm
you
gonna check that out.
if you're into film,
Yeah,
if you're not, then you might not like it.
fair.
Okay,
All
so
right.
defy gravity and sign us out.
You got it. He's Andres Ramirez. You can find him at Jaro2096. I'm the Zach Houston. We're both on Instagram. Give us a follow on below the line underscore 2025. We might have to update that name pretty soon for more information on Instagram, Spotify, and YouTube. And thanks as always for listening. Take it easy.
And also, stay tuned. We're almost at 50 episodes, and we're planning a special episode for that 50th. It's kind of crazy. We started this with the Oscars, and the Oscars are also about to be here.
Yeah.
So, have a good one, Zach.
See ya.
Bye
Bye.
bye. Go watch movies, guys.